Last night, I dreamt of something I can't forget, no matter how hard I try. It wasn't just a dream. It felt like something reached into my mind, twisted reality, and left me gasping for air when I finally woke up. Even now, the memory clings to me like a shadow I can't shake off. The strange part is, at first, it all seemed normal. The dream began like any other. Familiar surroundings, quiet details, even the smell of rain in the air felt real. I remember thinking, this is comforting. But then, without warning, everything began to unravel. The walls bent, doors opened to places that didn't exist, and faces appeared that I've never seen before in my life. What unsettled me most wasn't just the dream itself, but how real it felt. I could hear every sound, feel every chill in the air, and even sense emotions that didn't belong to me. It was as if I was being pulled into someone else's nightmare, forced to live through it. This wasn't just a dream, it was something darker, something I can't explain. And the more I think about it, the more it feels like I wasn't supposed to remember it, but I do, and I still can't forget it. The peeling wallpaper in the hallway, the creak in the third stair, the faint hum of the old refrigerator. Every detail was perfect, down to the smell of dust and old wood. But something was wrong. It felt too exact, as if it wasn't a memory, but a replica. I remember standing at the top of the staircase, staring down at the living room below. I began to walk through the house. Each step echoed far more than it should have. My hand brushed against the wall, and it was cold, almost clammy. I remember thinking, why does the house feel alive? When I reached the kitchen, the dream shifted. Inside, there was no food. Only rows of old photographs taped to the walls of the fridge. Faces stared back at me. Some I recognized, family, childhood friends, but others, strangers. Men, women, children I've never seen in my life, all looking directly into the camera with blank, emotionless eyes. I shut the door quickly, but when I turned, the entire layout of the house had changed. The hallway was longer, stretching endlessly, lined with closed doors. I felt a pull, a silent command to keep moving forward. My footsteps echoed unnaturally loud as I walked. Each door was different. Some looked normal. Others were burned, charred black. One door had deep claw marks raked across it. Another had a doorknob covered in something sticky and dark. I didn't want to touch it, but I couldn't stop myself. My hand moved on its own, and when I opened the first door, I found myself back in the same hallway, except everything was darker, and the ticking clock was louder. It was a loop. No matter which door I opened, I returned to the same hallway, only more distorted each time. The walls began to breathe, expanding and contracting like lungs. The ceiling dripped with something wet. My heart pounded louder with every step, but the hallway stretched on forever. And then I saw someone. At the far end of the hall stood a figure. The figure lifted its hand and pointed at a door. My instincts screamed at me not to open it, but something in the dream compelled me. My legs moved without my permission. I reached for the doorknob, and when I turned it, I fell, not forward, but downward, as if gravity had betrayed me. I landed in water. I thrashed, trying to find the surface, but every direction was dark. When I finally broke through, gasping, I realized I was in a vast, endless lake under a black sky. No stars, no moon, just darkness. In the distance, I saw lights, faint, flickering, like lanterns floating on the water. I swam toward them, desperate for safety, but every time I got close, the lights drifted farther away. The water grew thicker, almost syrup-like, dragging me down. Then I heard whispers, voices around me, though no one was there. They spoke in a language I didn't understand. Yet I somehow felt the meaning. You shouldn't be here. You weren't supposed to see this. Panic clawed at me. I kicked harder, trying to escape, but something brushed my leg. A hand, pale and ice-cold, gripping me tightly. More hands followed, pulling, dragging me beneath the surface. And just before I blacked out, I opened my eyes underwater and saw dozens of faces staring at me. The same faces from the photographs in the refrigerator. Their mouths moved in unison, whispering words I couldn't hear. That's when I woke up, gasping, screaming, my throat raw, as if I had truly drowned. Even after waking, the dream stayed with me. My chest still hurt, my throat burned, and I swore I could still feel the cold water clinging to my skin. But how do you convince yourself of that, when every sense tells you otherwise? Fear was the most dominant feeling, of course. The kind of primal fear that grips your stomach and makes you want to hide under blankets like a child. But alongside the fear was confusion. Why did it feel so real? Why did my brain craft something so detailed, so sensory, so impossible to dismiss? Part of me wondered if it was more than a dream. The whispers, the faces, the figure pointing me toward that door. It all felt intentional, like a message I wasn't supposed to receive. And the worst part, I can still recall every single detail. Dreams are supposed to fade. They slip away like smoke the moment you wake. But this one, it's burned into me, as if I actually lived it. For days afterward, I couldn't shake the unease. I avoided mirrors, afraid I might see one of those strangers staring back. Every creak of the house at night made me think of the hallway. And sometimes, when I closed my eyes, I could almost hear that ticking clock again. The emotional weight isn't just fear. It's the gnawing suspicion that maybe, just maybe, it wasn't only a dream. When I woke up that night, I wasn't sure if I had escaped the nightmare, or if I had only left part of myself behind in it. The memory hasn't faded. The faces still appear in my mind. The whispers still echo in the quiet moments. And the worst thought of all. What if the dream wasn't finished? What if it was only the beginning? They're supposed to vanish when the sun rises. But this one didn't. It stayed, burned into my memory with frightening clarity. I woke up screaming from this dream, and I still can't forget it. Sometimes I wonder, was it just a dream? Or was it a message trying to reach me from somewhere I can't understand? Have you ever had a dream that felt too real to forget? One that haunted you long after you opened your eyes? Share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Who knows, your dream might even be featured in the next video. Until then, sleep well if you can.